Turkish friends, welcome to another Turkish shelf video. In this Turkish shelf video, I'm going to talk about this tiny book, Erzurum Yolculuğu by Alexander Pushkin. This book was of course originally written in Russian, and I have the Turkish edition, and the title of the English book is Journey to Erzurum. The reason that I chose this for Turkish shelf is, of course, at least half of this book takes place in Turkey in the year 1829. Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin was born on May 26, 1799 in Moscow, Russia. Between 1811 and 1817, Pushkin attended a special school for privileged children of the nobility. Pushkin was not a very good student in most subjects, but he performed brilliantly in French and Russian literature. After finishing school, Pushkin led a wild and undisciplined life. He was exiled to the south of Russia because of the political humor he portrayed in his works. He worked as a civil servant, but he was caught in a life of gambling and drinking. Of course, he did not make much money, and his family refused to support him. In 1823, he transferred to Odessa, a larger city more to his liking. He then moved to Mikhailovskaya, an estate owned by his family. He married Natalia Ganjarova in 1831. She bore him 3 children, but the couple were not happy together. His wife, many other admirers. He challenged one of her admirers to a duel that took place in January 26, 1837. He was wounded, and Pushkin died on January 29, 1837. As for his literary works, he is ranked as one of Russia's greatest poets. The scholars state that he not only brought Russian poetry to his highest excellence, but also had a great influence in all Russian literature in the 19th and 20th centuries. He wrote about 130 poems between 1814 and 1817 while still at school. Most of his works written between 1817 and 1820 were not published because his topics were considered inappropriate. In 1820, Pushkin completed his first narrative poem, Ruslan and Ludmilla. Pushkin's other famous works are Eugene, Onegin, Boris Godunov, The Queen of Spades, The Captain's Daughter, and The Golden Cockerel. Journey to Erzurum, written in 1836, tells the travel and war memoirs of Pushkin, who joined the Russian army as a civilian in 1829. The book is a document of his observations during this time. He starts his journey from Tbilisi, Georgia, and then travels through the current Georgian lands, Armenian lands, and then passes to Anatolia, Turkey, through Kars, and then finalizes his journey in Erzurum, where he joins the Russian troops there. In this journey, he is caught between the Turkish-Russian conflicts, and he gets a chance to meet the general in Erzurum, witnesses the plague in the region, and has a chance to see the Pasha's harem. The only important character in this very tiny memoir is the Pushkin himself. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, he is a writer and poet, but he decides to join the Russian army for travel and for adventure and to experience the war. But he then decides the army life is not for him. He mentions that he decided to write this memoir in 1836 because of the misinformation of some of the people in the Russian army about this time period in the war with the Ottoman Empire. For the discussion of the book, first of all, I will talk about what I thought about the book. I thought the book, even though it was very short, it contained many very informative details about the time period, the landscape, the people that he met on the travels. And also the writing style and the descriptions were really beautiful. That's why I gave this book an 8 out of 10. My second point is, of course, how accurate the Turkish experience was. He joined the army which fought the Ottoman Empire, so it was natural that he felt hostility towards Turkish people. That was prominent throughout the book. Because of its time period, I never felt offended by these descriptions, because he also made very accurate observations about the Turkish people and how people lived there. For example, the delicious bakery and the delicious food of Turkish people was praised a lot, and especially in the eastern regions of Turkey, meat is a very important part of the meals. The meals containing meat were considered tasty and delicious. Also, the landscapes and the buildings, which were impressive, was I think displayed accurately. Although I haven't been there myself, I know from the pictures and the videos that I watched about this region how beautiful the landscape is, and I could only guess that it was much more beautiful when the cities were not developed and it was just a mixture of mountains and green woods. Also, there were some hints about the political condition of the Ottoman Empire. During that time, a new sultan came to the throne and decided to modernize the army and also the state with a more westernized view. And this fact is also mentioned in one of his talks with the captured Pasha in Erzurum. And talking about Pasha, the harem experience was very interesting to read, actually. The author thinks he saw a very fancy harem. On the other hand, it was just the harem of just one Pasha. It was the place of the woman in the family. Of course, at that time, men were allowed to take up to 4 wives. Besides these wives, daughters who reached puberty were considered as a part of the male heirs' harem. The harem of Pasha was actually a very small harem compared to the other more successful and also more wealthy people, especially Istanbul. Istanbul was the capital of Ottoman Empire at that time. I mean, I chuckled a bit when he said that the harem was very exotic and very glorious, even though it was just a bunch of women in one room. But to give Pushkin a benefit, he admired the beauty of the Turkish woman, so yeah, so he was accurate on that one as well. All jokes aside, I think Pushkin had a very honest view of his experiences in Anatolia, in 2 major cities, Kars and Erzurum, regarding Turkey. And as I've said in the beginning, I think this tiny book is a good snippet of its time and the Russian view about the war between Ottoman Empire and the Russian Empire. This was my Turkish shelf video about a non-fiction book for Non-Fiction November, of course. Very niche memoir work written by a very famous classical Russian author. I did not know the existence of this book until I searched for non-fiction books taking place in Turkey. Non-Fiction November helped me to discover new books as well. Please comment down below, have you been to Erzurum? I'm not going to say how you read this non-fiction book because I do not think that you did. If you're a new viewer, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. As for Turkish word of the day, I'm going to choose journey. Journey means yolculuk in Turkish, and yolculuk is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.